You know, I wanted to comment on the economy. We're into the year, and economists and reporters and a cross section of people are looking at the economy as we move into 2011. And one of the focuses is that we don't have many manufacturing jobs like we do. We are outsourcing so much of our manufacturing. Did some reading on Germany over the weekend. I've always had some problems with the past of Germany, the fact that the ugly part of Germany comes out after World War II and our lessons really learned, but you cannot knock the fact that their economy is doing better than ours. Their unemployment is several points below it. They've got one of the strongest economies in the world today, much stronger than what we see here in the United States. And you look at some of the reasons why and try to evaluate it so that maybe we can learn some lessons ourselves. I thought was interesting that our manufacturing of goods we use is down to 11%, where the Germans are up around 25%. Britain is only 10%, I believe. And there's a big difference in terms of what the Germans are doing, what they're producing locally versus what we're doing here. And one of the reasons seems to be that the financing is much easier. It's done on a local level. I remember back when I was a Louisiana senator back in the 1990s. I'm sorry, back in the 1990s. I wish it was the 1990s. I wish I was that younger. But back in the 1970s, at that point in time, banks could not cross parish lines, what many of you around the rest of the country call counties, what we in Louisiana call parishes. Banks could only operate within a parish, so we allowed the state across state lines. Now we have multi-banking, where these giant banks that operate not just in America but worldwide dominate in each of your community. Huge banks in my community in Baton Rouge are located all over the country, all over the world. And what happens is the standards are set nationwide. As a consequence, it's harder to raise money. You've got to put up a lot more money. And there's not the focus on local financing. You know, a $500,000 or $1 million loan is not a big deal to a national bank. They want those huge income resources. You're making nothing on your CDs. In Germany, you get a much better return on your money. And the finance is on a local level. Banks have to operate regionally. They can't operate nationwide like you do in the U.S. And I think maybe they're onto something right there, because so many businesses are able to do their financing locally, have ready access to financing, and they're growing a lot more, and they're really emphasizing manufacturing. The focus is manufacturing of their products there in their country. We're outsourcing everything. In our country, it was all finance. You got to get into finance. You got to go with Wall Street and the stocks and the bonds. And of course, look what happened with the meltdown of the zero economy, to where nothing was created. You took these financial products, nothing was created, no new jobs were created, massive bonuses being paid to the financial sector on Wall Street, and then it trickled down to the huge collapse where these derivatives are being confected just to drive more money, more turnover, more commissions, and you and I are paying for that today. AIG, the largest insurance group in America, the largest physical presence in my home state of Louisiana is the IG. We've had to bail them out to the tune of almost $200 billion. Not million. Wish it were 200 million. $200 billion. And it's the fault of the go-go economy of wanting to make money and not create anything with it. Let the money create more money. It doesn't work that way. Money only is created more of if you've got something you're producing. And we're just not producing in our country today. We have some level of consumption, but you take so much of what we make. We import so many things that we bring back in. And I think it's a real weakness for us that we've allowed this national banking and not emphasize more on the local and regional level. Maybe you need national banks for the big products, but we need local financing. You just don't have the local control and the focus that says, hey, we're going to let you go into the banking business. You got to invest your money back in your community. We don't have that in Louisiana. We don't have that in America, and I think it's a real weakness. And those darn Germans, I hate to point to them, but we can learn something from their initiative. They want to keep it local and finance local. They're way ahead of us, and we're not. Share that with you. And again, I'm not happy with the situation, but you got to learn from those who are successful. We are not learning that lesson. The Republicans are not. The Democrats are not up in Washington, D.C. All they want to do is give pity pat to Wall Street, who says, oh, leave us alone. We're going to generate a lot more dollars. They're not doing it. The only way dollars are generated You got something to back up those dollars, and a lot of that is tied to the manufacturing sector. Share that with you. If you've got a thought on it, give me a call here on right here on our line. My email address, jb@jimbrownla.com. New number, by the way, 866-582-9933, toll free. We'll be right back on Jim Brown's Common Sense after this message.